Hey, what's up, everybody? It's the AEW Dynamite post show tonight. Punk and Hangman cut a promo. Samoa Joe beats Kyle O'Reilly, and AEW Double or Nothing this Sunday.
Oh.
Yeah.
Here we are. Up close and personal.
Oh, my God.
Happy Wednesday.
Yeah.
It's cracking, everybody.
We're here. It's Wednesday night.
Hey, Angelo. I'm doing all right.
Are you aware of what that means? Do you know what it means to be Wednesday?
Do you know?
Do you know what
Do you
Wednesday
smell?
means?
The Wednesday's cooking?
I don't know.
Oh, welcome.
I don't like this new camera angle. It's pissing me off. Right off the bat, I don't like it. I'm too close. It's like too close. I don't like it. Got all sorts of changes here on the show, and like, this is one that I don't like at all. I really don't like it. It's honestly distracting me and pissing me off. I can't really. All right.
So I won't ask how's it going.
Yeah, no, I'm annoyed. I'm honestly just annoyed with how I look right now. I don't like it. I don't like this new look. We're going to change it because it's too close. All right, Double or Nothing is coming up this Sunday. It's 3 years of AEW. 3 years of AEW.
It's kind of crazy.
Feels like they've been going on for longer.
Because of the all-in business and everything leading up to that. It just felt like longer. You know, they were talking about AEW and like.
Nah, it's
starting
not
the hype
that.
train.
It just feels like it's been around for a long time. It's not like, 3.5 years, 4 years. It feels like it's been around for like 10 years. It feels like AEW's always been around.
2019, yeah.
Yeah, but it's only 3 years. It hasn't been around for that long.
I thought it existed longer before the pandemic, but I guess not.
No, I mean, they were around for like a year and then pandemic happened. 3 years, and I have less hope now than I've ever had in AEW, I think. I used to have more hope.
Thanks.
The hope is kind of gone right now. I really don't have a ton of hope for the future of AEW. I'm a little bit disappointed with where they are after 3 years. Considering the talent that they have, the possibilities that were there at the beginning, and now where we are right now, 3 years in. If I told you 3 years in, they'd have CM Punk, they'd have Bryan Danielson,
Samoa Joe.
I think we'd expect them to be better off than they are right now.
Well, Joe's just got there. It's just a name.
Yeah, but whatever. He doesn't matter that
Lee.
much. Joe honestly means very little to me. So does Keith Lee. Whatever. They're bit players. CM Punk and Bryan Danielson are major stars, and look what they've done with them. Thanks for renewing, everybody that's a member. Join.ringsidereport.net if you haven't joined already. We're back here on a Wednesday night, and believe me, it's taken a lot for me to be back here on a Wednesday night. A lot. It's not easy. So appreciate this Wednesday night while you have it, because I don't know about next Wednesday.
I think Punk's done pretty well so far. He's had some good feuds, some good promos. I don't necessarily feel it's been wasted. Bryan's that's 100%. Bryan Danielson has been wasted. I even dread the segments with the Blackpool Club now, with like Eddie Kingston involved. I just find it just a big pile of boring.
Yeah.
But Punk I've been impressed with. Like, they could have done a whole lot worse.
They could have done better. They could have done better. They could have done better with Bryan Danielson.
Mm-hmm.
They could have done better with Kenny Omega. They could have done better. They could be in a better position right now than they are. They're not in a great spot.
Right now, no.
They're not in a great spot. And if you think about what they could have been in 3 years' time and where they are right now and where your anticipation was, where your level of excitement was for AEW when they first started and where it is right now. Consider where it is now and where it was when you first started.
I mean, AEW was really shaky, though. They had some really shaky stuff.
Yeah, but you had hope.
Potential.
You had hope. You thought, In a couple years, this is going to be something. And we're 3 years in, and it's all right. There's some elements of okay, but it's not the great hope in professional wrestling that we expected it to be. It's not the great alternative to the WWE that we hoped it would be. It's not the sport-based New Japan America-style pro wrestling show with entertainment value and good production that we expected it to be. It's a better version of Impact Wrestling at its peak. Impact Wrestling, TNA Wrestling was pretty good. You know, they had their moments, they had their time. And I'd say AEW right now rivals the best times of TNA Impact.
Like 06 to 2010?
Sure. And it's like a
Kurt
touring
Angle,
brand.
Phil Hogan.
Yeah. Touring brand of TNA Impact. Does that mean that they're a great alternative to the WWE? No.
I was still watching Raw back then.
Yeah. It's a different wrestling show. It's fun for the most part, but the belief that AEW is going to be the leader in professional wrestling, the belief that AEW
is going to capture the zeitgeist, like the public.
Yeah, it's not happening. They haven't done that. They had the opportunity. They had CM Punk. They had it. They had the wrestling world in their hands, and they dropped the ball. They dropped the ball. And that's really all you can say. Now, Double or Nothing probably be a good pay-per-view. They do good shows. It's a fine wrestling company. I'm not saying that AEW is garbage. I'm saying that AEW is not what it could be. And the WWE is not what it could be. Okay? You can say the same for the WWE. I'm not here being a pro-WWE, anti-AEW guy. I'm not one of those nerds. Okay? What I'm telling you is AEW, we know the WWE is not going to hit their stride. We know WWE is operating at about a 7 when they could be operating at a 10, but they just don't because that's how they work, because of the corporate structure, because of Vince, because of comfort, because of whatever, laziness,
shiftlessness,
lazy booking, whatever. Okay? But AEW, you thought, well, they could operate at a 10. They could get this guy and this guy and this guy and do the right stories, and all of a sudden, whoa, there's no glass ceiling in AEW. You could really do stuff, and all of a sudden, maybe AEW would be the number one company. No.
I think, talking about that potential that we saw, I think some of it, was unfortunate circumstance, but I think also we got to see the potential play out of some of wrestlers, and they didn't quite live up to what we thought they'd be. Like a guy like Sammy Guevara, even Riho. We thought Riho was going to be one of the major stars because, at the beginning, she was the first AEW Women's Champion.
Yeah.
Obviously the pandemic, threw a wrench into the works.
They did nothing with Riho. You look at Darby. Where's Darby?
Yeah.
Where's Darby?
I mean, he had that incredible match with Jeff Hardy.
Is he on the pay-per-view?
No, Darby and Sting, I don't believe they are. I mean, he's got to rest his back.
What? Sure, but, this is a guy that you're trying to cultivate as one of your stars. This is a guy that's over. People like him. It's a big pay-per-view, 3-year anniversary. He's not on it. He's not on it. He's not booked. He has no story.
Where's Orange?
This is a former TNT champion. I think Orange is hurt.
Oh, Orange is hurt.
But where's Miro?
Yeah. That's when they really dropped the ball.
What happened to Malachi Black? He wasn't on the show tonight. They got a match on the pay-per-view that no one wants to see. The Malachi Black team, House of Black, Malachi Black, Buddy Murphy, and Brody King. I mean, if you want to make a guy less interesting, give him Brody King and Buddy Murphy. Have they helped Malachi Black, or have they hurt him?
I thought Brody King was going to be interesting at first. He's kind of big and the tattoos. But, he's just kind of a big hoss.
He's just like an inflated Malachi Black.
Yeah.
He looks like an inflated version of Malachi Black. So I'm not...
Yeah. There's a lot of disappointment. And, I think when AEW started, we thought, 3 years down the line, they wouldn't need to depend on Jericho that much, because they figured, we figured enough people would kind of come up. We thought maybe Jericho would be retired by this point. But Jericho's still, amazing, and we need it. They still need him. Like if Jericho wasn't on this show, right? It's disappointing. We thought Jericho's gonna be a huge boost at the beginning, and then over time, there'll be so many stars that they won't need to focus on Jericho or need him as much. Like that would be his goal. But
yeah,
that backfired. Like we still need Jericho. We need him to like be the anchor in storylines to keep things going, and
which is fine. Like it's fine. But with Jericho, with Bryan, with Punk, I imagined a more fun wrestling show. Like the show I watched tonight was mediocre. It was mediocre, and the pay-per-view coming up on Sunday is like, yeah,
it's gonna be long.
Whatever. I want to see Hangman and Punk. Everything else I could care less about. Harold Schneider dropped in a super chat. He says, I like the camera angle, but if you don't, get it fixed. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I like it. If you like it, Harold, I mean, maybe some people like it. I don't like it. I feel I don't know. We'll deal with it off the air. But
yeah, it's disappointing. Like some characters, though, we've seen their potential, and they even eclipse what we thought, like a Britt Baker. Britt Baker's probably one of the biggest AEW success stories. When she started, she was kind of this generic kind of babyface character.
Yeah.
And she's been able to develop her own thing. Independent of that,
Yeah.
Like she's been able to do her thing. Like she's probably one of the bigger success stories for AEW, I would say.
She's worked.
But
Britt's worked. How many stars have they actually made? MJF, Britt.
I mean, a lot of people like Wardlow.
I think that's going to be flat. I think that whole Wardlow thing is flat. That started the show tonight.
It's pretty boring.
I couldn't care less about that steel cage match. MJF is a special referee. Sean Spears is the opponent. Wardlow comes to the ring. He's handcuffed. They decide. MJF is like, oh, I don't have the key. I guess you have to wrestle in handcuffs. And then it was like a handicap match in handcuffs. Wardlow getting beat up by MJF and Sean Spears. And then eventually Wardlow breaks out of the handcuffs, hits MJF in the head with a chair, takes MJF out. Wardlow hits Spears with a bunch of power bombs. A new ref comes into the ring. 1, 2, 3. Wardlow wins. At one point, Sean Spears left the cage. And I thought he won.
Yeah.
But apparently you can't win by leaving the cage. You had to, pin the guy. And then security came, and that was the most impressive part of the whole thing.
Yeah, of the whole show.
Security comes out. Wardlow starts beating up security guards, and he grabs one security guard, and he powerbombed him into the cage, and the fence gave, and the security guard tried to grab the apron or something on the way down. He couldn't. He hits into the fence, goes down, and disappears between the ring and the fence. I don't know where he was. He disappeared
went
forever.
Head over heels.
It was crazy. It was a horrifying bump, the worst bump on the show, really devastating. I don't know if that guy's all right, but he can't be feeling too good right now.
Do you think, we'll ever hear an update?
Why would you?
I mean,
who cares? He's an unknown security man.
Yeah, but
no update.
If he broke his neck, I'd like to know.
Maybe somebody will say it, but AEW won't be telling you what happened to the unknown security guy. But, yeah, the match itself, Wardlow, Spears, MJF was kind of like, all right, whatever, get it over with. The cool part was when Wardlow threw that security man into the fence, and the fence gave. And, he's supposed to hit the fence, bounce back into the ring, hit the apron, roll back into the ring. He hits the fence pushes, he can't grab the apron, and just dips between the apron and the cage. And I don't know what, and when
the legs hit the apron, the legs go up. So all of a sudden, he's squid,
bad.
A Murphy bed, those beds that fold.
Yeah, that's what he was like.
Like that. Yeah, that can't be. It's gotta hurt.
It looked real bad. It looked really bad. But the match itself on Sunday, who cares? Who cares about MJF versus Wardlow? Do people really want to see Wardlow get the comeuppance on MJF? Do they want to see Wardlow get revenge?
I want MJF to win.
Do we care to see Wardlow get revenge? I like MJF more than Wardlow. Wardlow got a bunch of revenge tonight, beat Spears, beat up security, hit MJF with a chair. I think MJF has to win on Sunday.
I hope so.
If Wardlow wins, he's granted his release from his contract with MJF, but if MJF wins, Wardlow's permanently banned from signing with AEW. So MJF has to lose, right? Because Wardlow can't be banned from AEW. This has to end at some point, unless Wardlow's AEW contract is coming to an end, and this is how he's written off of AEW, and the next time you see him, it's in WWE. I mean, it's possible. But I think Wardlow probably wins on Sunday. They're trying to recreate the Batista Triple H type of thing, you know, but Wardlow is not Batista. This Batista Triple H thing lasted way longer than MJF Wardlow. And again, I just don't feel the sympathy for Wardlow. I don't care about Wardlow. I'm on Team MJF.
You know what the big problem is? His name is Wardlow.
Yeah.
It sounds like a goon of like a rich country club guy, you know? Like, get him, Wardlow. Get him off the premises.
And that's what he was at first, but like,
I knew it then. I was like, you know, they were like, they've been teasing this like he's gonna, you know, stand up to MJF for like a long time now, and it's been so generic and boring. So, and I remember thinking back then, like, oh, they Batista this guy. It's not gonna work because his name is Wardlow. His name's not Batista. It's Wardlow.
I think the problem is MJF is just so much more entertaining.
That too.
He's just so much more fun to watch. Like, when Wardlow speaks, if he speaks, it's like, all right.
Yeah.
When MJF speaks, it's magic. It's fire. If you're a professional wrestling fan, it's hard not to like MJF way more than Wardlow, right?
I like to think so.
What is it about Wardlow that you would like more than MJF? Like his size and muscles, I guess?
Bombs.
Yeah, but, I mean, there's just not much to Wardlow. So I'm not a fan. I don't care about the match on Sunday. This is a long build to something I just didn't want to see resolved. I didn't care. I did not care about MJF and his goon Wardlow turning on him. Everybody likes MJF better than Wardlow. And that's the problem. That's the problem. You're not supposed to. You're not supposed to, but you do. Because he's more entertaining. You can't, like, AEW can't play to the hardcore wrestling fans and then be surprised when their generic babyface storyline falls flat. You know what I mean? Like, if you're playing to people that like professional wrestling and appreciate the craft of professional wrestling, well, don't be surprised when your top heel, MJF, is actually a babyface among your core fan base because, you know, he does pro wrestling real good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they try to play to us, the wrestling nerds.
Yeah, the ones who could reference Batista Triple H or other countless times a bodyguard has stood up to the guy.
But guys like us, we see MJF and we're like, God damn, man, this guy's really good. And you see Wardlow and he's like, and it's like, well, he's not that big. And his powerbomb is like, okay, I guess.
It's not a sit-down powerbomb like the Batista bomb.
The thing is, with Wardlow, if you're a hardcore wrestling fan, you see Wardlow and he's a dime a dozen. MJF is a diamond in the rough. You know what I'm saying? It's a completely different story. So when you have MJF against Wardlow, it's like, well, Wardlow's kind of mid, and MJF is like a top-tier talent. So for us to be, you know, we're supposed to cheer for Wardlow, but I think most of the audience is going to be Team MJF. So AEW has miscalculated once again, Tony Khan.
Yeah, for trying to be the anti-WWE, they're making a very WWE storyline.
It's a very WWE storyline, and they're not getting a WWE fan reaction for it because this isn't WWE. It's AEW, and the people that buy tickets for AEW are hardcore wrestling fans. They're not, you know, a casual wrestling fan that's going to go because it's coming to your town. They are there for AEW specifically because they're AEW fans. It's a different audience. WWE gets everybody. AEW gets wrestling fans. And that's why they struggle to draw 1 million people for their ratings every week. It's a struggle. Because too niche. It's niche of niche. Wrestling is already niche. AEW plays to the hardcore fans of a niche product. What the WWE does right is they try to get everybody. They try to cast a wide net. sometimes they alienate their hardcore fans by doing that. However,
it works.
It does seem to work for
Bad
the most
Bunny,
part.
the Paul brothers.
Yeah.
Well,
that's smart.
Jon Stewart.
Yeah.
Machine Gun Kelly. He's popular nowadays.
Yeah, well, that was a while ago.
No.
CM Punk and Hangman Page have a face-to-face promo hosted by Tony Schiavone in the ring tonight. Punk is very respectful. He says respectfully he's going to be the new champ on Sunday, and it's just business. It's not personal. For Hangman, it doesn't seem like it's just business. He says he's going to destroy Punk, and there's nothing that Punk can do to him. And Hangman is definitely the heel in this one. Fans chanting for CM Punk, and this was in Las Vegas tonight, so definitely going to see more of that love for Punk on Sunday, again in Vegas. Hangman says he wanted to light up a pipe bomb and toss it in Punk's face tonight, but he realizes that he's not going to do it because he didn't want to be petty and a coward like CM Punk. He didn't want to do the same thing that CM Punk would do to him. Hangman says he doesn't hate CM Punk, he just pities him. Says Punk talks a big game about workers' rights, but he's shown the exact opposite since getting to AEW. And that was just a little line that didn't really have an explanation going in or an explanation on the way out. It was like, hey, Punk, I'm going to beat you. I'm going to destroy you. I don't really respect you. And you talk a lot about workers' rights, but since you got to AEW, you're showing the exact opposite. And I'm not defending the title against you, CM Punk. I'm defending All Elite Wrestling from you. And you can kind of read between the lines, like what Hangman's saying. Like maybe Punk is selfish backstage. Maybe Punk is in it for himself. Maybe Punk isn't as giving with his time as he appears to be on TV. Maybe he's not such a locker room leader and a good guy backstage. But Hangman didn't really explain that. You have to read between the lines, which is okay, but Punk was saying, like, look, you're talking in riddles, and I don't really understand what you're saying.
Obtuse. He's being like on purpose, and I wish he wasn't.
Yeah, that's it. Punk is like, you're not really saying anything here, man. Like, you know, if you're mad, whatever, but all the roads that you went down, I paved the way for you. You should be thanking me, and you're going to shake my hand right now and show me the respect I deserve. And instead, you know, Hangman just gets in Punk's face. Punk pushes Hangman. Hangman punches Punk. Punk falls down, and Hangman stomped away. So it was an interesting promo, but I feel like they just scratched the surface of what's beneath between Hangman and Punk. It seems like there's a real issue.
And this was the go-home promo.
Exactly.
This should have been the first promo.
Yup. They never got to the point. This storyline deserved more talking. This Punk Hangman thing needed deeper explanation, and we never got it. We got angry Hangman saying he was going to destroy Punk, and it's not respect, and all this. We got respectful Punk, but Hangman's mad because Punk is a bad guy, and Hangman's here to defend All Elite Wrestling. But it's weird because Hangman, by saying that, kind of seems like a babyface, but he's been playing the heel, the aggressive, angry heel in this story. CM Punk is babyfacing it up. The fans are with him. But Hangman is kind of saying things like, you're not a good guy, and I'm defending AEW from you. But you don't really know what he means. He hasn't really said what he means by that.
Yeah.
And, you know, Punk is like, look, Hangman, I think you're mad, but you're not mad at me. You're just mad. And that's kind of what it seems like from Hangman, because he hasn't really explained why.
Yeah, it was really
why
strange.
is he mad?
And also it feels like they would almost get along, those guys, you know? They're kind of both outspoken politically on Twitter. You know, they seem to they're very kind of like wrestlers kind of guys, you know? And that's why I wish Hangman would be more specific. Because, like, if you just say, you know, Punk, you know, you're a dick, it's like, okay, well, you know, we've heard stories throughout the years and stuff. So, like, he's trying to let the audience make their own conclusions. But I wish he would actually be specific, because that's what CM Punk does.
Yeah.
He gets very specific.
MJF did a great job of telling the story of why he's mad at Punk.
Yeah,
right.
That was a great feud.
And he went deep, he got specific, and you understood his motivation from opening chapter to the end.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? From beginning to end, you get what MJF is saying. With Hangman, I'm not sure which, like, the chapters are all, like, messed up. Like, they're not even in order.
Did they cross paths in ROH or something?
No. There's been, like, Hangman needs to do a sit-down interview with, like, JR or something and explain what his real issues are with CM Punk. Unfortunately, the pay-per-view's on Sunday.
There's no time.
You had all the time in the world, and you pussyfooted around doing jack shit on your stupid TV show. You had Punk wrestling Johnny Hungy for no reason in particular. Punk wrestling Dax Harwood from the FTR for no reason in particular. Meanwhile, nobody's cutting a goddamn promo to sell the world title match for your pay-per-view.
And you talk about, making a show for the hardcore wrestling fan. We would eat this up with a spoon.
Yeah, this is
Backstage
what we want.
Drama.
This is what we want.
I want to hear Hangman say, like, Darby Allin, shook his hand and said it's an honor to meet you, and you blew him off. I want to hear something like that.
Something. Explain to me why you, Hangman Page, have to save AEW from CM Punk. Why are you defending AEW from CM Punk? What did he do? What is the threat that CM Punk poses upon AEW?
It's not a
Not
WWE
explained
guy.
at all. Not once. And the audience has no fucking clue. So we're booing you, Hangman, because we're cheering for Punk, because Punk's been a babyface. He's being respectful. You're being a dick. Why are you being a dick? It's not clear.
No.
You've been a babyface this whole time, one of the most beloved characters in AEW. All of a sudden, CM Punk comes around, you turn heel, you're a dick, but it's not clear why. AEW booking, ladies and gentlemen. Confused bullshit. This should be the biggest match of the year. CM Punk, Hangman Page.
Yeah.
AEW World Championship. Is this the moment when CM Punk becomes the champion? Is this the time when Punk gets the belt and becomes the leader of AEW? Instead, it's just this confused fucking story going into the pay-per-view. They are stumbling to the finish line. Stumbling. AEW cannot do go-home shows. They have failed at every go-home show for the past 5 or 6 pay-per-views. Every Dynamite going into a pay-per-view is like, that's how you're stumbling to the finish? It's unbelievable. And this is the problem with AEW. Their booking sucks. They have the talent. They have some gimmicks. A lot of people are over. But the booking of it is confused. Maybe Tony Khan is doing too much. The guy's running a soccer team. No, I'm not saying drugs.
Oh,
but the guy's running a soccer team. I mean, he does look a little like his eyes are a little poppy.
And
sometimes.
he's got so much on his plate. You got to stay awake, to handle that.
I mean, there have been people have asked the questions. Because there's been some odd appearances from Tony Khan, and you wonder, like...
And he's active on Twitter, kind of weird, sometimes,
Sometimes he's odd, and you wonder, are you on something? Are you on... Like, it's a legit question, because sometimes he comes off looking a little weird, seeming a little off. If you want to ask me if I'm on something, yes. Of course I'm on something. It's weed, though. That's all it is. I'll tell you what it is. It's not Ritalin. It's not the, whatever people do to stay awake. I drink coffee to stay awake. Anyways, Tony Khan's booking is goddamn terrible. He runs a soccer team, an NFL team. He bought Ring of Honor. He's trying to book that. He's booking AEW. It's like, come on, man. Maybe you're doing too much.
Does he
Maybe
really have
that's what it
control
is.
over the soccer and football team? He's involved?
He's
Or is it
involved.
his dad?
No, he's involved. He's like...
He really shouldn't be. He really shouldn't be. It's way too much.
Yeah.
It thins you out, you know? And that's the thing, like, Vince is just about the WWE.
Well, sometimes he is,
Yeah.
sometimes he isn't.
XFL stuff, but like, you know.
Sure, but he delegates, and it's... I mean, Vince is a different animal.
Yeah.
You know, there's only one Vince. And look, you know, AEW does do certain things correctly, but going into this pay-per-view, it feels like they're hitting their 3-year anniversary, and it's like, all right, we are out of ideas. We don't know what to do anymore. I'm looking up and down this card, and it's kind of a mess. MJF Wardlow. Hangman and CM Punk, like, you know, it's got the potential. The match will probably deliver, but the way that they've built it has been garbage. The Hardys and the Bucks, dream match, great match, zero built.
Yeah.
They did a Hardys promo tonight, but they didn't do a Bucks promo.
Yeah. Bucks have been not very present in this promo at all. Or program.
Yeah.
Because, like, Jeff was in the Owen Hart thing, so, like, that was taking up a lot of time.
It's just so basic, man. It's so basic. Your pay-per-view's Sunday. You have the Hardys versus the Bucks. The Hardys do a backstage promo. Fine. Was it a little too long? Yeah. If you made it maybe half the length, you know what you could have done? Put a Young Bucks promo there, too! But instead, the Hardys cut a promo. And on the same show, the Young Bucks are not even on. So what are we supposed to watch? Rampage to see the Bucks promo? To reply to the Hardys?
I never
Why?
watched Rampage.
No! That's not how you're supposed to do it. If you're building a match, build the whole match on one show. And then on Rampage, you build another match. Like, if you want to build the Hardys and the Bucks on Dynamite, give the Bucks a promo too, not just the Hardys. It's crazy. Just the like, I say it so much, and I'm sick of saying it, but I feel like I have to repeat it because some of these people in charge are so dumb. It's pro wrestling. It's not rocket science. It's not that complicated. It's really not that hard. It's really not.
Mm.
And if you're lost, if you're confused, fucking call me. Because I have the answer. It's really not that hard. It's wrestling. Like, this is the thing of people in wrestling. A lot of people in wrestling are fucking stupid. They have low IQs. They're really dumb. Okay? And they think they're smart.
Mm-hmm.
And they want to make things fucking complicated for no reason. And then in the end, it just looks dumb.
They write themselves into a corner.
And this is what wrestling people do all the time. They're like, oh, I'm going to reinvent the wheel, and we'll do this and that. And it's like,
or they think
sucks.
they're writing like an HBO storyline, and it's just like,
well,
so,
yeah, they wish.
Close.
I mean, it's just a lot of weak shit going on in professional wrestling that if they just tightened up and focused on it, paid a little more attention to, it would work. AEW should be much better than it is. It should be much better than what it is right now. And yeah, the Hardys and the Bucks, like Ray Cruz is saying, that was built on the BTE. And for some reason, there was never a montage of the BTE Hardys Bucks clips on Dynamite or Rampage. The
or a
fact
compilation for YouTube.
Just give me something. Yes, Ray is right. They have built this whole thing on BTE. However, a lot of AEW fans are watching BTE. So, when you build this match on TV, you're like, what is this about?
Mm-hmm.
It's very easy to just run a highlight package instead of the Hardys promo tonight. Why not run some BTE footage that you've accumulated over the past several months of the Hardys versus the Bucks, tell the story with some clever editing, and put that instead of the Hardys promo tonight. Build the match, but they don't do that. They don't do that because
I don't know.
Because I have no idea. Because they're
It's not hard to
like
make this
it's
program.
like it's not that hard.
There's
It's,
no hype. It should be like, holy crap, they're actually doing this.
Yeah,
This is
but there's
happening.
no one cares
It's just another match.
because they haven't built it whatsoever. There's been no build. There's been no build, and even on BTE, the build has been kind of lukewarm. I watch BTE, and Matt cut a couple of good promos, but overall, it's been kind of weak. And this is my problem going into this pay-per-view. There's a lot of shit I don't care about. Hardy's and the Bucks will probably be good on paper. It's fine, but the build to it, not great. Hangman and Punk is the match I'm looking forward to the most because I want to know if AEW is going to pull the trigger and put the belt on Punk. But at this point, I feel like they won't. And even if they do, I don't know. I don't know if that helps at this point. I don't know. House of Black against the Death Triangle? Like, please, spare me. Spare me. Ever since Pentagon became like Undertaker Pentagon, I'm just like, get the fuck out of here. Anarchy in the Arena, like, please, no.
That's going to be like 45 minutes.
I don't need that at all. John Moxley and Eddie Kingston beat up Private Party tonight in a match.
Oof.
I mean, whatever. It happened. The Jericho Society attacked Moxley and Kingston after the match. Santana, Ortiz, and Bryan Danielson made the save. They had a big brawl. And that's the match on Sunday. Moxley, Danielson, Santana, Ortiz, Kingston versus Jericho's team of Jericho, Matt, Big Magic, Angelo Parker, Daniel Garcia, and Jake Hager in some sort of arena-wide brawl match. Which I'm never going to care about a 10-man tag. Never. I don't care who's in it. I don't care what the stipulation is. It's really going to be hard for me to care about a 10-man tag. For the most part, I will not care. And I don't care.
And it feels very obvious.
Bryan Danielson, best wrestler in the world, stuck in this bullshit. Bullshit.
And it feels obvious that the Blackpool guys are going to win because Jericho's team has like a bunch of jabronis on it.
Yeah.
Like, not once since the JAS has formed. Like, I would have loved to see him, Menard and Angelo, whatever his name is, not Contagonis, win a match on Dynamite to show, like, hey, they're not pushovers.
They are, though.
Now that I know, but like, it would have been nice to establish, like, hey, now that they were Jericho, they could win matches. So when they're in this 10-man tag, you don't think, oh well, they're just gonna take the fall, obviously, but they are. But just give me a little bit of like storyline, a plot armor. That's the term, plot armor. Like it's like a term like like this guy's not going to die on a show, because the plot.
He's done
revolves
something.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's what these guys don't have.
No,
they're just like they're sitting ducks.
They're cannon fodder, and so is Daniel Garcia.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be something.
They tried to
JAS
like before he joined this Jericho team. He was he was higher on the pecking order.
Yeah.
In AEW. You know what I mean? Like they tried to push him.
He was with Team Taz, right?
No, he was with
no, I'm thinking of Ricky Starks.
He was with 2.0.
Oh yeah.
It was like 2.0, he was their son, remember?
Yeah.
And then they joined up with Jericho and they all became lower level jobbers. That's what Jericho does to you. I mean, look at Santana and Ortiz. They leave Jericho and now they're a little bit more established. This anarchy in the arena, I don't know. I don't care. None of this stuff appeals to me. Jade Cargill and Anna Jay had a taped promo tonight for their match, and that, to me, was fine. Like, they had Cargill talk. They had Anna talk. It was short. They said they had a match. They explained, they'd wrestled before, and Anna Jay lost, but now she's had more matches, and she's learned, and she's better, and now she's going to get a shot at Jade, and you know what I mean?
Story.
It made sense. It wasn't complicated, but it was simple. It's like, we've wrestled before, Jade Cargill. You beat me. This is now, though, and I'm better at wrestling. You're the champion. I want to be the champion. We will wrestle on Sunday, and I will try to win. And Jade Cargill's like, I beat you before. I'll beat you again. I'm that bitch. I'm Jade Cargill. And, like, it was a short promo, but they both did what they needed to do. And got the job done. Am I hyped for this match on Sunday? No, but you're not supposed to. It's just another match on the card for Jade Cargill, another defense, and it's fine. But the promo itself, like, that's what the Hardys and Bucks should have done. It should have been Hardys talking, Bucks talking, explaining why, and then here's a match on Sunday. They didn't do that, though. Jade Cargill and Anna Jay, they had the proper build. Proper build for this match. I'm not hyped for it, but, you know, it makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
What was the best match on the card tonight? Maybe the triple threat? Or Joe and O'Reilly was pretty good.
FTR Roppongi Vice was all
I like
right.
that, but there was no finish.
Yeah.
FTR wrestled Roppongi Vice, which is Rocky Romero and Trent Beretta. The match ended in a rare no contest for...
Let's just...
Woo. Sorry about that. Rare no contest for AEW, right? Like, it's usually we have a finish for every AEW match, but Jeff Cobb and Great Khan appeared and attacked both teams. And I think you knew who Jeff Cobb was, but Great Khan didn't have a great showing. Couple of the moves he did were not good.
No.
He did like a face grab, choke slam thing off the apron to Trent. Trent jumped way before he was supposed to and went through the table. Basically put himself through the table off the apron there. It was weird. Great Khan did not look great. Jeff Cobb looked really good. He's impressive. But, yeah. This was odd. The match was really good, though.
Yeah.
I'd agree with you. I think this was the match of the night. Even though we had a no contest, FTR and Roppongi Vice, like, they had a hell of a showing, and then the finish isn't their fault.
Yeah.
And this is to build the Forbidden Door pay-per-view, right? Because these are New Japan guys.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if the crowd knew it, though. And if you're going to do New Japan guys interfering, these guys? You know what I mean? Like, Jeff Cobb is, like, somewhat known. Great Khan is not that famous of a wrestler.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I didn't recognize him.
That's it. Nobody really knows who he is. I saw him, I was like, oh, that's, what's his name? God of War, Grado.
Grado. I would have loved to see Grado.
No, it's not Grado.
He's not a Japanese wrestler, but
it's Grado Khan. Different Grado.
Grado.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it wasn't. Yeah, like obviously they couldn't use a huge name to do an invasion thing, but like somebody.
I don't know if this builds any kind of buzz for that Forbidden Door pay-per-view. Like, after seeing Jeff Cobb and Great Khan, are you like, oh my god, Forbidden Door? It's going to be crazy. Jeff Cobb and Great Khan against Roppongi Vice? What? Like,
I mean,
no one cares.
Maybe the Dynamite after Double or Nothing, you know, maybe like Okada will tape a promo saying like, I challenge you, Hangman Page.
I mean, that'd be sick. Okada, Tanahashi, Naito. Forget about Ibushi.
Yeah.
Okay, no Ibushi. Man, I just, hope Ibushi's all right.
Might wrestle for AEW, if anything.
Yeah, which I hope New Japan lets him out of his contract, lets him out of the country. He can come to AEW, hang out with Kenny, and have a happy life and be all right. But I think his body's kind of broken down, too. Ibushi is going through a tough time.
I mean, those bumps.
But, if they could get Okada, Tanahashi, and Naito, any of those guys, it doesn't even have to be all three, but all three would be optimal for that Forbidden Door, right? Like, if you're going to do Forbidden Door without Okada and Tanahashi and Naito,
it's like the Invasion.
It's not that great. Yeah.
Like when the Invasion, like the biggest guys were DDP and Booker T.
Like,
just didn't feel right.
You need Okada. At the very least, you need Okada to wrestle somebody from AEW. You need it. And if you don't have that, there's no point in doing Forbidden Door whatsoever. If you cannot produce Kazuchika Okada in Chicago for that Forbidden Door pay-per-view, there is no point in doing the Forbidden Door pay-per-view. Facts. That's straight up.
Kenta's with New Japan, right?
Yeah, but who cares?
I'm just saying, he'll
He's
probably be
insignificant.
He'll probably be one of the guys.
Yeah, but I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, if they fill the card with Kenta and Jeff Cobb
Juice
and
Robinson.
Great O'Khan and guys like Juice and Jay White, it's like, yeah, all right, cool, whatever, different talent. But it's the B level New Japan. If you can get the A level of New Japan, if you can get Tanahashi and Okada, then you're cooking. If you can get Will Ospreay, then you're cooking. Ospreay against an AEW guy will be real
Darby.
interesting. Our Ospreay is a controversial character in wrestling, so yeah. Swerve got a win over the Jungle Boy and Ricky Starks in a triple threat match. This was to set up the tag team title match on Sunday. Will Hobbs came out to help Ricky Starks after the match and attack Jungle Boy and the Swerve. Luchasaurus came out and goozled Hobbs. And then Keith Lee's music hit, and Luchasaurus and Will Hobbs just froze, waiting for Keith Lee to come to the ring, which was bizarre. You know, like, Luchasaurus has Will Hobbs like this, Keith Lee's music hits, and he lets go, and they both just look.
Hey, who's that?
Sorry, if a man has me like this, and then he releases me and turns his head, I'm going to attack that man immediately. I don't care if another man is coming to the ring. You know what I mean?
It made no sense.
It was really dumb. And then Luchasaurus kicked Hobbs out of the ring and then just followed him out of the ring, and Keith Lee was just standing there like, I guess I'm by myself now. It was really weird. I was like, okay, Luchasaurus, Keith Lee, Will Hobbs, they're the three big guys of their team. They're in the ring. And then Luchasaurus kicked Will Hobbs. Will Hobbs fell out of the ring, and I was like, oh, okay, Keith Lee and Luchasaurus are going to do something. Nope. Luchasaurus just left the ring, and Keith Lee was just like standing there for a second until Luchasaurus got to Will Hobbs. They got to their spot outside the ring where Keith Lee could do a running dive onto both of them. It was sloppy.
He didn't get much air either. He just kind of landed with a thud on that thing.
And whatever. The dive was what it was. It's just the execution of it and the setup was just clunky as all fuck. But what do you expect when you got Luchasaurus in there?
Yeah.
And Will Hobbs is green too. I mean, all these guys are just inexperienced at pro wrestling and not very good, you know? I mean, Keith Lee and Swerve is pretty good. Ricky Starks I like. There's some guys in the match that are pretty good, but overall, a lot of them are quite green. Like
Jungle Boy had a nice move, I think.
Jungle Boy's not terrible, but like the facial expressions aren't there. The acting part is not there, which is weird because his dad was an actor. You know what I mean? Like,
decent one too.
He's a better athlete than he is an actor, which is weird. He's got no promo ability. He's got no charisma. You know, like,
it is weird.
His facial expressions, like, he just always seems confused in the ring. He's always got that, like, look.
Yeah.
He never has, like, an angry look or, a happy look. It's always like,
He always starts his promos being like, hey, I'm Jungle Boy.
Yeah,
you know, like,
his promos are garbage.
I'll beat you.
Garbage.
And he always seems annoyed by his music. You ever notice that?
Yeah.
When he walks out, he's kind of like...
It's the same face all the time. He's kind of like, He blinks a lot.
That's good. That's a good, like, with the mouth. The kind of little Jungle Boy. Like,
Fucking Jungle Boy. Like, it's just weird, you know? He's weird, and it doesn't work for me at all. You know...
Yeah, his dad was a face.
Luchasaurus is green. Will Hobbs is very inexperienced in pro wrestling. He's got a ton of potential, but he's not there yet. Keith Lee, you know, is fine. I think the stars in this match, honestly, are Swerve and Ricky Starks. Those guys are money, and hopefully we see a lot of them in the triple threat on Sunday. It's Jungle Boy and the Luchasaurus versus Starks and Hobbs versus Lee and Strickland. And I'm really, really hoping for a title change. We will preview AEW Double or Nothing coming up on Friday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time with Johnny North. Dan Lambert cut a backstage promo with Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page, and he says it doesn't matter that Ty Conti and Sammy Guevara stole the TNT title because Dan Lambert knows belt makers, and he got a new custom-made belt made for Scorpio Sky, who's a TNT champion, which, you know, again, no match on the pay-per-view. No one cares about him. And he's going to get his new belt presented to him on Friday's episode of Rampage, which, hey, there's a reason to watch Rampage. Dan Lambert presenting a belt to Scorpio Sky. Probably get Sammy Guevara interfering in that. Who cares? Not something I need to see. Thunder Rosa cut a promo on the stage.
Ugh.
I saw some people like this promo from Thunder Rosa. I don't know what it is they liked about it. I mean, she had fire, I guess, but it was awkward. She's awkward.
Yeah, there's just something off in her delivery.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It's like her facial
Everything.
expressions, the words she chooses to emphasize. You know, she just kind of starts shouting sometimes in the middle of her sentences, and she kind of quiets down.
Well, English is her second language, so you got to cut her some slack there. But
I know, but even so,
no, the promos are awkward. It's like weird. It's a weird. I didn't love the promo tonight. I thought it was really funny when she's like, "And I'll be champion. It'll be me, Thunder Rosa." And then her music hits, but her promo isn't done, so she's still talking over the promo, and Tony Schiavone's standing there just kind of smirking and laughing because it was a major botch by the music people. But I think the music guy was like, we're done with this promo, Thunder. Music! It's like they're playing her out at the Oscars. You know when you have a speech at an award show and it's too long? That's what they did to Thunder Rosa tonight. Too long, Thunder. You said your name. We're hitting your music. Get off the stage.
That's a logical end of a promo when she goes like, "You're gonna lose to Thunder Rosa. Hit my music." You know, like, and because then she added like, "And I'm gonna make you forever." And it's just like it was unnecessary. I think that promo was worse than Serena's from last week. I didn't hate Serena's last week.
I don't know.
Promo.
They were both garbage. Both of their promos.
Serena just has
were
bad delivery, but the content was good.
Yeah, the content was good, but then when she's like mad at Tony Schiavone and Goldust, it's like, what the hell's going on here?
Because they like Thunder Rosa or something.
It wasn't clear why.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I don't know why Goldust had to be involved.
Why did she have to slap Goldust? That whole thing, but that wasn't Serena's fault. Like,
No.
I think her delivery was all right and her content was all right. It was just like, what's Goldust doing
She
here?
should have directed that promo at Thunder Rosa.
Yeah, but
Why
she didn't.
They haven't faced off. What's it with the lack of face-offs and like promos against each other? You know, like what's with the lack of confrontation?
I don't know.
They keep keeping people away. You know, they have these Schiavone promos where everyone's kept away from each other. You know,
They did. You know,
nobody calls anybody out.
The Thunder Rosa Serena Deep thing, it's whatever because I don't know how important the match is. I think Thunder winds up winning.
It should be important though. Like they've been both built up for a long. Like Serena with all her matches with Shida and like the challenge and her brutality, always like arching on like her half crab. Like she's been built pretty well. And Rosa, you know, we've been expecting her to go on a run for a while, and now she's on it, and it's incredibly underwhelming.
But of the 3 women's matches on this pay-per-view, okay, the Owen Hart tournament final that Britt Baker's in against the winner of Soho and Statlander, right? So Britt Baker's in a match in a final of a tournament,
win.
Okay? And a Jade Cargill for the TBS title. And then you have Serena Deeb versus Thunder Rosa for the AEW Women's Championship. The Serena Deeb Thunder Rosa match is the least exciting match of the 3 women's matches.
I think it has the potential to be the best match overall.
Star power-wise, it is the least impressive match.
It could be the best match on the card.
Wrestling-wise, sure. In the ring, Thunder and Serena are very good.
Mm-hmm.
But it's goddamn pro wrestling. It's not like an athletic contest. And you got to be good in the ring. That counts for a lot. But also charisma, talking ability, and all that stuff counts too, and it's not there with them at all. At all.
It's weird too, because I felt Serena's program with Shida, Hikaru Shida, had some like weight behind it. There was, they wrestled 50,000 times, but like there was heat going into their matches. You felt like a certain kind of anticipation there, and it's just not there now. Because they haven't had a confrontation. I thought Serena should have attacked Rosa several times. That's what she does. She does these behind the back attacks, then she does these brutal submissions.
I don't know if she did that at all.
Not at all. They didn't do anything. They haven't interacted at all.
And
this entire time.
Last week when Serena slapped Dustin Rhodes, Thunder came out immediately to attack Serena. But Dustin grabbed her and stopped her, and that was the end of the segment. There's no heat. There's no reason to care.
I want to, but they haven't given me a reason because they just keep delaying it, thinking like, oh, you just want to, like, let's wait till like they get into the ring, like delay the audience's like thing satisfaction. But that's the wrong way to go. No, they should want us to be like, oh, remember when like Serena put Thunder through a table? I want to see them now, go crazy, Double or Nothing. That would have given us more heat. If there was just a little more violence, just confrontation, just anything to like draw back from.
My level of anticipation for this match is 0 because they haven't given me a reason to believe in Serena as the next champion. That hurts,
Mm-hmm.
I don't really see that there's real heat between the two of them. There's just nothing there. There's nothing there. And I don't think Serena wins. And if she does win, like, what the fuck? She's their champion now? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, who's the baby face she's going to wrestle?
There's nobody.
Ruby Soho?
Toni Storm, maybe they bring her. Toni Storm lost tonight. She got screwed over in the match against Britt Baker. Britt grabbed the ropes for leverage during the cover. The referee was looking at Jamie Hayter. Can you blame him? Distracted by Hayter. Britt got to cheat to win, beats Toni Storm.
It's a decent match.
Yeah, it was all right. Tony's
the finish
nose
was a bit muddled.
Tony's nose was bleeding a little bit during the match. They went at it. They put out maximum effort for the match. That's all you can hope for. It wasn't terrible. They executed. It wasn't, my favorite match on the card, but they did all right tonight. Toni Storm and Britt Baker felt like a match big enough to be the final of the tournament, but it's not. Britt Baker will take on the winner of Chris Statlander and Ruby Soho, who'll be wrestling on Rampage. I think maybe Statlander.
I think it's going to be Ruby.
Britt. I feel like it'll be Statlander because Statlander and Britt, it's 3 years of AEW. It's a 3-year anniversary show. Statlander
originals.
And Britt are originals,
It's true.
It makes sense for them to wrestle each other in the finals of this tournament. They are, if you look at the AEW women's roster, who on the roster that is still relevant is an original? Was there
all of AEW?
Of all the of the women.
Oh, the women. Okay, because I was about to say MJF.
No. But I'm saying Statlander and Baker were there from day one of AEW.
Yeah.
And they're still there, and they're still relevant. The Bunny was there from day one, I think, pretty much.
Nyla Rose.
Or early date. Nyla Rose. Not as relevant.
I wish she was.
Yeah, but she's not.
She's on Dark a lot.
Yeah. Well.
And exactly, she's been kind of not doing much.
Nyla Rose promos on TV, not great. Matches, not great. Twitter game, fantastic. Great follow on Twitter. I follow Nyla Rose on Twitter. Very entertaining. She's got charisma. It just doesn't come off on TV.
And she's got Vicky with her. I don't know why Vicky doesn't just do
Nyla Rose has a lot of personality. I don't know why there's not more done with her on TV, but, sometimes people have personality backstage. You hear that about Scorpio Sky. Everybody thinks he's super entertaining backstage, so fun and charismatic. You put him on TV, it's like, what?
Cesaro.
Yeah, doesn't work. It doesn't work. But I'm saying
who's still relevant?
Statlander, Britt Baker of the women's originals in AEW, they are two of the most relevant, if not the most relevant. I don't know who else.
Red Velvet an original?
I don't know, but
she's in the baddies section.
She means nothing.
She's got more relevancy now than she did before.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Statlander
I do.
And Britt.
They've brought in a lot of the women's wrestlers. A lot of them have been either fired from WWE or from the Indies, and they brought them in. Like the women's wrestling, it was like Britt and Chris and a lot of Japanese wrestlers who are still with the company.
Kind of.
Yuka Sakazaki.
Shida got sent away. They said Shida was hurt. And then Sheeta's like, I'm not hurt. They just didn't want me in the tournament.
Yeah, that's right.
There was weird stuff with Sheeta. I don't know if she's going to be back. I don't know what happened with Sheeta. This is the time, too, when contracts are running out in AEW and they're just letting people go, and some people are upset. People are mad. I saw an interview with Billy Gunn and Road Dogg.
Yeah, Billy Gunn's
Did you
talking about how
see-
there's like no management or something.
Yeah, he's
You
like,
don't know
there's
who to
no
talk to.
structure in AEW, and it really bothers me. And he's like, oh, people in AEW, they just do a bunch of flippy shit that doesn't matter. And I'm like, don't you work there? What are you saying?
Aren't
man?
you a trainer?
No, I don't think he is. Apparently, he just sits in a room by himself and doesn't talk to anybody. That's what he
What
said.
about his sons?
They talk to people, and he talks to them, but
He just kind of keeps to himself.
he likes the ass boys, but I don't think he likes anybody else in AEW. It was a pretty interesting interview there from Billy Gunn. I was like, oh, okay. There are people in AEW that are like seeing this and thinking this is fucked up. I mean, they're seeing it.
And they're like, all the same people kind of felt that about WWE too. You know, so many middle managers.
Of
You don't know who
course.
to talk to. You know, Road Dogg was one of those guys.
Yeah, but there was more structure apparently in WWE. And AEW, it's kind of a free for all.
Because he always knew Vince would be the final decision.
Yeah, in AEW, it's kind of like, hey, do whatever you feel like out there, and we'll figure it out later to see if it makes sense.
I mean, I could see Tony Khan being the kind of guy being like, hey, we want you to do this. And if someone like argues with him enough, he's like, okay, fine, we'll do it like that.
I think that they should replace Tony Khan with Great O'Khan for like 6 months and just see what happens. Make Great O'Khan the new booker and president of AEW.
Because his name is Khan?
Yeah.
Or,
Maybe that's why he was brought in tonight. They were like, let's bring Great O'Khan.
Who's that? TNA Khan? Kurt Angle was involved with her.
Raka Khan.
Raka Khan.
Yeah, let's bring all the Khans in here. Nick Khan, Raka Khan.
Khan Super Nusipone.
Connie, Super News and Phone.
Shao Kahn from Mortal Kombat with
There
the
you
big
go.
hammer, you know?
There you go. Was that Shere Khan from
Yeah.
Jungle Book?
And Tailspin.
There you go. He's a bad guy.
Yeah, with the deep voice.
All right.
There's a lot of Bollywood stars with the name Khan.
Samoan Joe beats Kyle O'Reilly tonight with a rear naked choke type move. Chokes him out. O'Reilly goes to sleep. Joe wins his semifinal match in the Owen Hart Cup tournament thing, and he'll take on Adam Cole, the baby, in the finals. Cole came out after the match and looked at Joe. It'll be Cole versus Joe coming up at Double or Nothing in the Owen Hart Cup final. Will the Cole Baker couple walk away with the double Owen Hart Cup trophy belts, whatever? I say possibly. It seems very likely. I think Joe versus Cole, I would pick Joe. And Britt versus Soho or Statlander, I'd probably go with Britt. Maybe Britt loses. She's won too much.
I think if it's Statlander, I think Britt wins. But I think if it's Ruby Soho, I think Ruby Soho wins.
Ruby Soho.
Because she's been, like, they had those promos for, like, weeks with, like, Ruby's with Tony Storm and, like, angry at Britt and, like, kind of bringing up their old feud that they had, like, last year. I mean, it's not out of the question. You know, it's like, oh my God, Ruby Soho, you know, back, you know, from obscurity, is now the Owen Hart tournament winner. It could be, you know, and it brings her kind of back up a level of relevancy. It could happen. Would it be a good move?
Soho.
Not sure, but it could happen.
I wouldn't give Ruby Soho a goddamn thing. Nothing.
She's apparently also well liked backstage and like places. One of those people, you know, but she doesn't have much charisma. But people seem to love her.
She's very mid.
Yeah.
Very mid. Like, you have her win a tournament in your company looks very, like, low level. Do you imagine Ruby Soho winning a long, drawn-out tournament in WWE for anything?
At one point, maybe.
When she was the leader of the Riot Squad, maybe.
The first couple weeks before you
Even
discovered
then,
they were super jabronis.
Even then. I don't know.
If they pushed them right, yeah, I would have.
AEW Double or Nothing, we will be on Friday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time to preview Double or Nothing, and then we'll be on Sunday night after the pay-per-view to recap all the action, give you our match of the night, our rating on 10, and all our thoughts from AEW Double or Nothing. We will start the show Double or Nothing Sunday with Hookhausen, Hook and Danhausen as a tag team on the pre-show match, taking on Tony Nese and Mark Sterling.
Ooh, and Tony Nese again.
Jade Cargill defending the TBS title against Anna Jay. Samoan Joe versus Adam Cole in the Owen Hart Cup tournament final for the men. Britt Baker versus either Ruby Soho or Chris Statlander in the women's Owen Hart Cup tournament thing. And that Soho Statlander match takes place on Friday's Rampage. So on Friday, we will preview the pay-per-view, and we'll know who Britt's opponent will be. Thunder Rosa defending the AEW World Championship against Serena Deeb. Jungle Boy and the Lucha Boy defending their tag team titles against Ricky Starks and Hobbs, and Keith Lee and Swerve in a triple threat AEW tag team title match. The Jericho Appreciation Society, Jericho, Menard, Parker, Garcia, and Hager take on Kingston, Santana, Ortiz, Bryan Danielson, and Jon Moxley in Anarchy in the Arena. House of Black, Malachi Black, Buddy Matthews, and Brody King take on the Death Triangle, Pac Penta, Oscuro, and Rey Fenix in a six-man tag. The Hardys go up against the Young Bucks. MJF versus Wardlow in a singles match, and the main event, Hangman Page defending the AEW World Championship against CM Punk. Where's Kenny? Kenny?
Working on the video game.
Kenny?
Apparently they're going to have a trailer at Double or Nothing
Oh, baby.
for the video game. Fight Forever, I believe it's called.
Give me a release date. Give me a release date. I don't care about it. Honestly, I don't care about the trailer.
It might be the fall or Christmas. Maybe. Or next year. It's hard to tell with video games.
Mario Strikers is out in like 2 weeks.
I've heard very good things.
You've heard very good things? Really? I got it pre-ordered.
The original was amazing for the GameCube. And then I'm hoping, because they brought back Mario Golf, brought back Super Strikers.
Baseball.
Superstar Baseball. That game was so dang good.
I'd be hyped for that. Mario Strikers is out in like 2 weeks. June 10th. Got my pre-order in. I'm very hyped for that. Very hyped. It's going to be sick. Hopefully the AEW game is half as good as Mario Strikers will be. The online shit for Mario Strikers looks insane. Like, you join a team. It's like FIFA.
Leagues.
Yeah, it's like FIFA, but Mario Soccer. It's nuts. Also, FIFA is like not with EA anymore.
Yeah, I was
crazy.
Yeah, EA
that's
dropped
crazy.
them.
Why?
They think they can do it without them?
Without FIFA?
So that means they don't have the license? They have the players?
But the game is called FIFA, man. Everybody likes to buy the new FIFA.
Yeah, it's like Madden.
Not EA Soccer.
It's not NFL football. It's Madden.
How are you going to drop FIFA? How does FIFA, FIFA should always be a game that exists, you know?
So,
hey, you get the new FIFA? Of course I did.
Soccer title then is not going to have, licensed players?
Whatever happened to Winning 11? Is that still a game?
I think it's still a thing.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
That was, better than FIFA.
But they didn't have the players. They didn't have players and teams.
But the game was, good.
That was a Konami game, I think.
Oh, yeah. It was a good game, Winning 11.
Yeah, I liked Winning 11, yeah.
But how is EA not doing FIFA anymore? That's crazy.
Apparently EA might get sold, though. Apparently that's another thing.
Oh, damn.
I'm hearing EA is looking to be bought by either the big companies like Amazon, Disney, Apple.
Makes sense.
Yeah, they don't have video game studios.
EA
anymore.
Sports no longer in the game.
So it would seem
crazy.
I mean, I haven't played an EA Sports title in a long time.
Yeah.
But fans seem always pissed off whenever a new sports game comes out.
That's it. I haven't got those games in so long because eventually they just became the same game every year, and once
I still play MLB The Show 2015. That's not EA though.
No.
I play NHL 2017. EA.
Right. That's all
Madden
you need.
2017.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've thought about playing one of the more recent ones, but it's just no, I'm good. And every time I read it, EA fans are just talking about how the franchise modes never get improved, and it's all about the online, the ultimate team thing.
You got to spend a bunch of money. Yeah.
That's the only thing that ever gets any love.
Screw job
in EA titles nowadays.
Yeah,
because that's the moneymaker.
All right, join us Sunday night for the Double or Nothing post show. The team put All or Nothing. I wish it was All or Nothing, but it's Double or Nothing. Okay, Double or Nothing in Las Vegas. Get it? Double or Nothing, AEW DON going down Sunday night. We'll preview the show Friday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, right after SmackDown. I'll try and watch Rampage. No promises. I think it's on at 6:30 on Friday night. So I'll watch that. I'll watch SmackDown. I'll come on with Johnny. We'll talk about Double or Nothing. We'll talk about the WWE. We'll talk about Sasha Banks and Naomi, the ongoing saga. Just a question for you. Just, a question that nobody's asking right now. Jeff Hardy walked out mid-match They thought he was high or drunk. He wasn't. They released him. Toni Storm left mid-tour, took a flight back to Australia, didn't go to her next date on tour at WWE, just decided, I'm done with this company, left, went home, gave her release. Sasha Banks and Naomi, they walk out of Raw, and they just shit on them in public. They suspend them indefinitely, but they don't release them? What's the story? Why not? Isn't it weird?
It is weird.
What?
I mean, I guess I see them as more valuable assets.
Than Jeff Hardy or Toni Storm?
Yeah, maybe.
Toni Storm had a big future in WWE.
But she hadn't been there long enough for them to
She's
think
not
she
Sasha
mattered,
Banks, I guess.
You know?
Or is there a double standard for black women in the WWE?
They don't let them go. Mustafa Ali wanted his release. They didn't give it
They
to
didn't
him.
give it to him. The white people get their release. I don't know.
I mean,
I'm not saying that there is. I'm just saying I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to figure out what the hell's going on.
It's also something you wouldn't necessarily put past the WWE.
No. I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know.
All you gotta say is, senior creative member Michael Hayes, and that's all you need to know about the rest of the culture.
I don't know what's going on with Sasha and Naomi, but it's very bizarre. The fact that WWE keeps talking about them on their TV shows, it's really weird. Okay, talk about them when they leave Raw. Fine. They left Raw, makes sense. Talk about them on the Friday night of SmackDown to explain why the tag team champions aren't there anymore and you're going to have new tag team champions. Fine. But you're going to talk about them and say, oh, they let everybody down on the following week's Raw? It's 7 days removed. Why are you still talking about these people that left your company on television? Why are you talking about them?
Like Stone Cold, it was maybe 1 or 2 weeks of those kinds of promos. Like The Rock cut a promo.
Yeah, but then
and
you
maybe
kind of...
Vince, and then it was just a confidential segment. It wasn't on their TV show.
Yeah, and then you kind of, sweep it under the rug so the very real problems that are happening don't get exposed too much and you kind of keep it quiet. That's what you're supposed to do. That's what they usually do in WWE. This one, they can't help themselves by continuing to talk about Sasha and Naomi. It's strange.
Maybe they're trying to shame them. Make them feel bad.
I don't think
Look
it's
how much
working.
you're hurting the audience.
Yeah, right.
Come back.
I don't know.
They missed you.
It's weird. It's really weird. I think they will come back, and this is going to be a storyline. I think it was real. You've heard of working yourself into a shoot. I think they are shooting themselves into a work.
Oh, man.
It's a reverse.
I'm getting really sick, though, of
like
these...
CM Punk.
Yeah.
Like the CM Punk pipe bomb thing was real, and then they made it a story, and they brought him back, and they signed a contract, and everything was good again. Like, they have turned people's anger at the company into a story and used it.
I know. But, they've been going to that well pretty often, since that pipe bomb promo.
Yeah.
Or, WWE cuts, as a program, hey, don't our creative decisions suck? Don't we suck?
Even Mustafa Ali, he left. There was, Free Ali, all this stuff. He comes back, and he kind of said some stuff about, but not really.
No, and, WWE loves,
but Sasha
doing
and Naomi,
those promos.
Sasha and Naomi would have to dive deep into it if they came back anytime soon. They'd have to.
But, they said those programs. Though.
Yeah.
Where it's WWE is evil, like when Bray Wyatt the Fiend, he had puppet Vince with devil horns.
Right.
Vince is so evil, the company controls you. But it's just kind of patting themselves on the back, kind of like.
What's really weird is that why do they insist on painting themselves as evil?
Yeah, and then be evil.
Why are they such heels? And then they act like heels, and then they are heels. It's what the... Why is the WWE a heel organization in a real way? Why do they act like this, and then why do they... It's they know. It's they're self-aware, but it's a bizarre way to be. Why would a company act like...
We know
heels?
We're shitty.
We know we're dicks. We're going to be dicks to you. And if you don't like it, well, screw you. Why do they act like that? It's a very strange way to act, and that's how they're presented on TV and their own storylines. Management is always bad.
Yeah.
It's strange. It's very strange.
Like when they all cut that promo saying, "We're sorry, the product sucks. It's all Baron Corbin's fault."
Yeah.
And he's still employed.
And he's on TV so much.
He makes the product suffer. Yeah. But yeah, I'm starting to get, like, they've been doing that so much where, like, now, like, if Sasha Banks and Naomi come back and they're talking about how, like, WWE, they're the system and they're evil, I'm just be like, ugh.
Yeah, I don't think I could care because they're going to jump
They've done
back
it so
into
much.
it.
You know, Retribution was like that, too. WWE, they got to be taken down. It's just a thing
That was
of just,
bad.
like, you know, they're trying to take the legit grievance against them and try to make it this, like, half-baked storyline of, like, oh, we hear you. We hear you. We think we're bad, too. But, like, now here's this bad storyline.
It's almost like, hey, we're on your side. We hate us, too.
Yeah.
What? It's weird.
And now here's more schlock.
I don't understand why the WWE just insists on painting themselves as the heel company. Sometimes they're good guys, but they try to be bad guys all the time. It's really weird. And they're doing it with Sasha and Naomi. Like they let the fans down. No fans are feeling that way. No fans are like, oh yeah, you're right, WWE. Sasha and Naomi, they're dicks.
I mean, like,
Some people,
Redditors, you know.
Yeah,
that's
sure,
the comment section. That's hard to, like, gauge as legit opinions.
Oh, they're so spoiled. Why do
Yeah.
they,
Because, like, when Sasha was, like, she was at, like, some concert, and she was, like, dancing on stage, like, over the weekend or something. People were like, oh, you're having fun, huh? Can't work for the fans?
What?
Yeah. She had, like, a Flow Rider, one of those rappers shows.
Work for the fans.
It's like, oh, having fun on your time off,
She
huh,
doesn't work
Sasha?
for the fans. She works for herself.
Yeah. But people have that attitude.
Well, who do they work for?
They were for shitty bosses.
They probably don't work for anybody.
Yeah.
You know, like, but who are you working for? Are you doing it in an altruistic way for the people, or are you doing it to cash a fucking check? What the fuck?
People do that, though, you know. They develop these parasocial relationships, you know, with people on TV.
Well, they need
and
to
they
go
think
fuck
they owe
themselves.
them something.
Well, fuck those people.
You know?
Fucking nerds.
Yeah.
They need to get real relationships with real people and stop giving a fuck about Sasha Banks, because guess what? Sasha Banks doesn't care about you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. She's not lining your pockets.
No. What do you care so much about what she's doing? She doesn't give a fuck about what you're doing. It's crazy. Like, yeah, Sasha and Naomi, it's an interesting story, but I'm not fucking sitting up at night wondering what the hell's going on. I'm like, yeah, you know, they'll either come back or they won't.
There's just a lot of implications, you know, because Naomi's a Fatu.
But
Sasha's
I'm not
husband
mad.
worked for the company.
Like, I'm not mad at Sasha or Naomi.
No.
I don't really get. And you know what? I'm not mad at WWE either.
No, it's just it's a
confused.
situation.
I'm confused by their reaction because I think that they could probably handle it a little better and come off a little bit better. You know, like they come off weird, and it's like, man, if you just kind of handled it a little cooler, if you're just a little cooler about it, like, you know, it's unfortunate that they left, but, you know, we tried to accommodate them. We couldn't, and
That's the nature of the business.
we hope that they come back, but if not, you know, it's too bad. Classy, you know, they could do that.
They don't look weak or anything.
They never choose to do that. They're always like, yeah, it sucks that they left and they're spoiled and they let the fans down and you should all be mad at these two people and they're bad.
We never needed them anyway.
And it's like, all right, well, I really don't care that bad, WWE. But also, like, you know, should Sasha Banks walk out on the company because she's mad that she has to wrestle Ronda Rousey or whatever and lose to Ronda? It's like, well, maybe you're mad at this point, Sasha, but, you know, there's a lot of women. Like, ask Dana Brooke if she'd like to be in your spot. I bet she would.
Or Nikki Ash.
Or Nikki Ash or Doudrop or a bunch of these people. Like I get that it's not ideal, Sasha, and maybe Sasha wants something more, and maybe she wants more focus on the women's tag team titles and all that shit, but why don't you ask Ricochet if he wants more focus on the Intercontinental title that he holds? You know, like, there's a lot of champions in WWE that aren't focused on, and it sucks, and I get it, but they don't leave because, you know, Ricochet doesn't leave because he's an Intercontinental Champion that doesn't matter. Sasha and Naomi decided to leave because they're tag team champions and it doesn't matter. But they're still being pushed in a pretty good way on the card. They're on TV. They were going to have title matches on pay-per-view. Like, it's not so bad. It's not so bad for Sasha and Naomi compared to what it is for most of the rest of the people on the roster, and I get that they're upset and they're frustrated, and it's tough to be a wrestler, and it's tough to be on the road, and it's frustrating, and I'm sure it's difficult and challenging, and I get it.
Yeah. You got to deal with, Johnny Ace and Michael Hayes.
Yeah, but I feel like it's probably more of that other shit than you have to wrestle Bianca, you have to wrestle Ronda.
I think it's that.
I think it's like a lot of shit that's going on with Sasha and Naomi, just the grind of being a WWE person and whatever else is going on in their lives. And they think, well, fuck it. It's not worth it. And that's fucking their decision. And I'm not one of these guys that's going to go and write to them on Twitter like, you let the fans down.
You owe us.
And I'm also not one of these guys that's going to go on Twitter and be like, WWE, you're being unfair to Sasha and Naomi. They should be given everything because... Stop fucking bitching. Who cares?
Yeah.
Is Sasha Banks a promo like a Charlotte Flair? Fuck no. Does she have the look like Charlotte Flair? Fuck no. I saw some jabroni on the internet talking about how Sasha's better than Charlotte. I was like, in what universe? People are still thinking that. Sasha's better than Charlotte Flair, and it's only because her dad's name is Flair that Charlotte's... It's like, yo, have you seen her? Have you seen her? Just look at her. Look when she walks out. It's a star. It's a fucking money-making star. And the matches are good. You see her match with Ronda is goddamn good.
Yeah,
Sasha's
in the ranking
good.
Of the four horsewomen,
Sasha's good, but
Charlotte's number one. If you look at the careers of the four horsewomen, Sasha might be the bottom of that list. Charlotte, Becky, Bayley, Sasha.
But in the ring, match quality wise, she's probably the best. Sasha.
Better than Charlotte?
That's tough. I think at one point she was.
Probably better than Becky.
I think at one point she was, but she isn't anymore.
Yeah.
Why did I just turn fucking orange? What happened?
Got a tan.
All right, I'm not orange anymore. I was Hulk Hogan there for a minute. I think Sasha was good, but I think Charlotte's way better now than she's ever been.
Yeah, Charlotte's the tops.
Yeah, I think so. And, Sasha's great. No, I'm not trying to shit on Sasha or Naomi. I think they're both great. But in the grand scheme of WWE, where do they rank? Not at the top. And the fact that they're still treated as well as they are is pretty good. It's pretty good. Sasha could be getting more because she is so talented, because she is a trailblazer. I get Sasha being frustrated, but at the same time, Randy Orton's in a tag team now, and he doesn't seem bummed out about it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to take a back seat. Sometimes it's not you in the title picture. Sometimes just because you're tag team champion doesn't really mean that you're going to get focus. The WWE has got ebbs and flows.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're going to ebb and sometimes you're going to flow. And Sasha, and Naomi, they didn't want to roll with these punches, so they walked out. It is what it is.
Yeah, they decided to do it together, Team bad. Sticking together. Was it Sasha? Or no? Or one of them said, I think, when they arrived to the main roster. So Sasha, she came before. I think she said, nobody gave her much respect or something, except for Naomi and Tamina. They kind of looked out for her. So nice to see that kind of bond still going. Although Tamina didn't want it, but yeah, it's just it's a complicated situation. It could make itself a storyline, but it's not.
Oh, they will for sure. At this point, they have to. They're not granting Sasha and Naomi their release. They're giving them some time off to cool down. They're going to bring them back. I don't think they ever even do the tournament for Tag Team Champions. And if they do, at the end of it, Sasha and Naomi will show up and challenge the new champions.
Yeah. Natty and Shayna or something.
And they probably haven't started the tournament because they haven't figured out the dates of when they're going to do the return of Sasha and Naomi. But I really don't think that they are...
SummerSlam or something.
I don't think that they're talking about them because they're really keeping them away forever. They're talking about them at this point now because they plan to bring them back. And we'll talk about that more on Friday night, okay? Yeah. Friday night. I did hear Romans. They're not going to fire Naomi.
Because, like, what are the Usos going to do?
Oh, whatever.
But, like, can't disrupt that dynamic. Oh, sorry, what were you going to say about Roman?
He's supposed to wrestle Riddle at the Money in the Bank, Randy at SummerSlam, and then Drew at the Castle Clash in Wales. Right. Interesting.
There's a rumor he might drop one of the belts.
Oh, he shouldn't. He shouldn't drop anything ever. But he might. All right, that's it. I'll be back here Friday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, right after SmackDown. We'll preview AEW Double or Nothing. And I'll also be back tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time to talk some MMA with Freddie and AJ. We'll talk mad shit about the UFC, and we'll have a good time. So Thursday night, 8 p.m., Friday night, 10 p.m., and then Sunday night right after Double or Nothing to recap the event. And that is the schedule so far for the Ringside Report Network. Thank you to everybody tuning in. Thank you to Harold Schneider. You are the Super Chat leader of the night. Thank you to the members, Angelo Contagonis, Ray Cruz, Harold Schneider, Anthony Plesia. Thank you to everybody tuning in tonight. Thank you to the members. If you have not joined, join.ringsidereport.net. Join.ringsidereport.net is where you want to go. Support the channel so that we can keep giving you shows like this one. Do you like that we're back on a Wednesday night? This is the first Wednesday night post-Dynamite show that I've done since my daughter was born. So it's been at least like 6 weeks.
7 weeks.
6 or 7 weeks since we've done these post-Dynamite shows. And if you want more post-Dynamite shows, support the Ringside Report Network and, then you'll get them. Support the network. Join.ringsidereport.net. Hit us up on Super Chat. Keep supporting the network, and we'll keep providing quality wrestling programs just like this one here tonight on a Wednesday for Double or Nothing week here on the Ringside Report Network.
Please join in and give your support to Ringside Report Network. We've been providing expert coverage and commentary on both pro wrestling and MMA for over 15 years. Go to ringsidereport.net/support to find out more ways to support the channel.